Right, hello everyone. Welcome to the review that almost didn't happen. Got this a couple of days ago, literally just a few days ago. And on paper, it's a Honda Civic, but it's an RS. And that's not the paper part. The paper part is a dreadfully disappointing 132 kilowatts, 240 Newton meters of torque under the hood, mated to a 7-speed CVT box. It's something that says RS. It says RS. And that's what you give us. But the reason why I've started with this review at the back of the car is look at it. Just look at it. It's fabulous. It's absolutely fabulous. I think this is one of the best looking cars in the four-door saloon segment that you can buy. I absolutely love it. And the fact that we have a black little splitter spoiler thing and a black shark fin on the back and black door handles just adds to my it's actually really nicely done factor. I'm going to run you through the rest of the outside of the car now, and we'll do a little drive in it, tell you what I think of it. Let's begin with the Allen disposal unit, in other words, the boot. Yeah, it's big enough to get an Allen in there because it does extend further back through the cutout there where the seats are, and we've got a 60-40 split. But the fact that you have this cutout here is a bit annoying, because if you do have large things you want to load in the car, again, and I have to fit through that little gap. And you know, typical of a Ford of a hatch these days, there is a bit of a lip, so you are going to have to lift things up. But the opening space is nice and big and generous. And look, you can actually toggle opening the back seats from here. I've just done it. They haven't top forward, but if you push something through there, they will do so. So not a bad boot. You know, certainly you can get a number of bags of luggage in there for the holiday trip down to the coast. Right. Tail lights, wonderful. And for a change, these are mags that actually work for me. They're black, but I don't know, they're just beautiful. And there's a very big hint as to what's coming later on in the video. Right here. Can you see what that says? And then can you see what those two little words say? Now, anybody who knows anything about tires knows that when you combine those two words, the 235/40 ZR18, you're talking about a proper performance tire. I'm not going to spoil the fun. So the black bits at the back match the black bits on the handles, and the black bits on the mirrors, and of course the black bits on the wheels. And coming around to the front of the vehicle, man alive, does this look good. Does this look good. And we have another RS badge just in case you weren't aware of what you're in. But this is proper mean, proper aggressive. I love it. Just looks the part, doesn't it? And of course we've got, you know, all the usual recruitments with our fog lamps in the bumper, and of course our headlights. And that's really all there is on the outside of the vehicle to show you, other than the fact that it has got a very small sunroof. Teeny tiny little sunroof, in fact. But you know, that's me. I like that. Oh, goodness me. Good looking car. Will almost be as good looking as my midget when it has its Sebring front end fitted to it that I've acquired. Work in progress. Oh, wonderful. But look at this interior. Isn't this vented dash gorgeous? I think it's absolutely sublime. You just change direction via these little toggles here, and away you go. But I think that's a high-end, nice touch feature with piano black gloss here. Yes, but that shouldn't wear too badly. What Honda have done very cleverly here is they've put in a hard-wearing black, almost carbon fiber type effect, but it's got a nice sensory touch to it. This is going to wear well, that not so much, but you're never really going to access that. And you know, it's all very simple. The touchscreen, yeah, look, could be a bit better, I suppose. You know, in today's standards, it's not the most brilliant one, but really, the rest of the car, so good. I'm really not going to fault Honda on the touchscreen. We do have a sunglasses case, which is nice, and of course all the roof controls for the steering wheel, for goodness sake, the sunroof if you wanted to access it, and then a little hint as to the sound system. Bose does not disappoint. Very, very good sound system indeed. Interior, yeah, looks good. Brushed aluminium where you would expect to find it, and I like this little touch of the black harkening to our exterior cues and hints that the car has got on it. Squillion tons of room for the front passenger driver here, because you know, if you were in this car, you're going to be having your legs straight out, you're going to be grabbing onto this, and you're probably going to be screaming. So good that Honda thought about all of that. Well done, Honda. And of course, last but not least, decent sized cubby hole with a removable thing. Yeah, I can get a couple of cans of Coke in there, but unfortunately no bottles, but that's okay. This is a well, not compact, but this is just a sedan after all, not a massive off-road SUV. And what's life going to be like for those in the rear seats? Also probably screaming most of the time, but with that front passenger seat full forward, you've still got a ton of leg room here in the back. This is a surprisingly spacious car. I've got a lot of headroom above me here, and with my driver's seat in my normal driving position, I've got a massive amount of room in here. It really is plenty big enough for anyone. And you've got two different size cup holders in the fold down armrest, which is really comfortable. But I have to say, these seats are notable in terms of their comfort, and the fact that they are a velour come faux leather type combination is actually appealing. I think this velour will wear well, and it's certainly comfortable in terms of when you're sitting on them. Two speakers in the back, tweeter in the door, and the mid-range bass driver behind you. And then behind you here, there's a whole bunch of speakers hidden underneath there, which is where I suspect the subwoofers are located. Subwoofer, maybe woofers, not sure. But have a look at that dash again. I think that's just really pretty and functionally laid out. Oh, did you notice the pedals are suitably attired with a combination of metal and rubber to keep your feet nice and firmly attached to them. There's going to be quite a lot of in-car footage on this car. Why? Because it is absolutely fantastic. Okay, so here I am inside this Honda, and I'm at a loss for words. It's not often that I get into cars like this and expect to have as much fun and be as entertained as I was in this one. Because on paper, the car looks insipid. 130 kilowatts, 240 Newton meters, 7-speed CVT box, 1.5 litre turbo engine on a 4-door saloon. The car looks the part, but does it go? And short answer long is, well, long answer short. No, short answer long. That's the way. Is that this car is amazing. It's an absolute revelation in that I didn't expect anything from it. And when I got into it and drove it for the first day, it's kind of like, it's not a robot to robot. You're not going to be out dragging anybody. There we go. can hear the CV2 kind of changing through the cogs as I'm doing 100 on this particular section of road, which is legal. And yeah, it's not going to blow anyone away in the performance stakes. Let's see how we do. Shut up. Bong, bong, bong. Okay, so this is direction changes, standard slalom. Not bad. Not bad at all, little Honda. Yeah, this is good. Okay, let's just talk about ride. So after all that drama and after all that fun, this is still a comfortable car. I could drive down to Cape Town in it, get out, turn around, come back. That's my standard test of any comfort levels in a car. This is a comfortable car. It's Japanese, it's Honda, it's well built, it's quiet, it's elegant in a way. It has little Japanese quirks, which I kind of really like about Japanese cars. But you can see the thought that's gone into this car. You can see the pride, dare I say it, that's gone into this car. And the build quality on it is just superlative. It is every match the Germans. Sure, you can throw more money at a better infotainment center here if you wanted to, but you could not throw more money at the hi-fi. The hi-fi, the stereo. It is a hi-fi. It's Bose, and it is outstanding. It is really, really first rate. And I expected that from Bose. Their car stuff is pretty good, actually. And wasn't disappointed. Wasn't disappointed. What I do love about it is, again, we've got a lot of bottom end reach on the car. Nothing is lost on the bass response. And what I also enjoyed about it is that the forwardness of the sound just wasn't there. It's just a natural, perfectly presented soundstage. You don't have guitars in your nose. None of that. It's been thought through. So behind the wheel, what does this Honda do for you? Short answer is absolutely everything. It's fantastic. It is unbelievably good. I'm so happy in this car. I'm so happy. And I didn't expect to be. When I took the car and drove it for the first time on the way home from Edenvale to home, which is about half an hour or so, I was thoroughly underwhelmed. The car matched what it said it has on paper. 130 kilowatts, 132 kilowatts, 240 newton meters of torque, and a 7-speed CVT box. Sounds terrible. And that's what I thought this car was going to be on the way home. Driving it, I thought, it's just so a letdown. Because it looks so good. It looks fantastic. I love the looks in this car. Just the right amount of aggression, just the right amount of spoilers, just the right amount of understatement. The engine doesn't get all that noisy, the little 1.5 litre turbo. But then I drove it around the twisties up at Northcliffe Hill, just for, see what this thing can actually do type thing. And the more I drove it there, the more I suddenly realized just how wrong I was about this car. To the point where today I had to go and find some open tarmac somewhere to give it the beans, to see just how good the handling is on this car. And it's a front wheel drive, yes, and it's got not a lot until the turbo kicks in at around about 4,000, 4,500 RPM. So getting off the line, once you're off the line though, oh my word. Oh my word. This thing changes direction like a politician changes underwear. Like that. Just like that. You want to go left, go left. You want to go right, go right. Doesn't matter if you're going left at the time, just turn right, you go right. Done. Finished. No arguments. And the chassis, the steering, the feedback from it all is so communicative that you know exactly what is happening at any given time on this car. I could not get it bent out of shape no matter what I tried to do. And they aren't my tires, so I do show them some respect and didn't belt it too hard, but by the time the tires were making a bit of noise, even then, you still were well within limits. And the car just kept on gripping. It is outstanding. It is absolutely outstanding. For a front wheel drive car, I think this is quite possibly the best handling one I think I've driven in absolute ages. And yes, there's not a squillion kilowatts on there, but there is enough. When you've got the revs up and you've got it in full manual mode and the flappy paddles give you full manual, it's no kicking or changing from the gearbox side of things, you can pretty much do as you like. And I have to point out, I know this is dragging on, but I'm going to point out that CVT box actually starts to make sense. It actually starts to make sense. You can bang it down into first gear from about 25 k's an hour. It'll jump into first gear and you can keep it there up to around about 50, which means all that power is instantly and always available to you at those speeds, which is when you're doing fast corners and sweeps, and I'm not talking about 200k an hour sweeps, but when you're doing fast tight corners and you banged into first gear, it's an absolute hoot. It's an absolute hoot. And because the CVT box allows you to keep the engine on the boil and moves the belts so that you get maximum drive out of it, you're pretty much going flat out the whole way around. And with the handling on the car, the combination works. It really, really, really works. I'm so happy with the car. I'm so happy. I'm so pleased that Honda have managed to pull this amazing thing. They've nailed it. They've absolutely nailed it. I can't speak highly enough of it. For the money. What a car.